Joseph Max Czapek, also known as Johann Max Czapek, was a German writer in Austro-Hungarian Bohemia in the late 18th century. His first book was the 1797 Die 12 schlafenden Junglinge, or 12 Sleeping Youths, a sort of side quote to Christian Heinrich Spiess's Die 12 schlafenden Jungfrauen, or the 12 Sleeping Maidens, where Czapek's name shows up only at the end of the introduction, which has made the book be falsely attributed to Spiess. In 1798 he published today's subject, Die Ruinen von Palmyra, or the Ruins of Palmyra. He seemingly stopped writing shortly after 1798, due to Emperor Francis I issuing decrees banning all ghost, chivalric and bandit romances, as well as ordering the closure of any libraries where people might have access to them, seemingly from a desire to protect public morality. Czapek did try to obtain an official position but was denied due to writing books, which was seen as a conflict of interest when dealing with booksellers. He was also an actor and wrote librettos. There is nothing known of his birth or death. The Ruins of Palmyra concerns Adelbert von Dreieichen, a German knight who went to Palestine to fight against Saladdin. His family achieved fame during the time of Charlemagne, and the founder of the house received a prophecy that one of his line would rule a kingdom beyond the ocean. Centuries later, the two knights of the house are the brave Walter and his brother the ambitious Benno. Benno is jealous of Walter's fame and the friendship of the prince of the imperial house, and so first sends his men to kill him and then shoves him into a river, but fails each time. The second time, Walter winds up at a monastery and stays for a year before recovering. In the meantime, Benno had taken possession of the Burg of Dreieichen and had become a notorious robber baron. Walter wants to believe there is good in him still, and Benno rewards his belief by immediately stabbing him the moment he comes back. Benno then somehow avoids being killed and goes off to the Holy Land. Later, Walter's son Adelbert is to go there too, because a travelling one-eyed man showed him a picture of a girl he fell in love with at once, without ever having met her. But Adelbert is caught after the Battle of Hittin, and is sent to Rahaba, and made a slave to Emir Muran Haleb, who frees him at once. While at Rahaba, Adelbert witnesses many strange things that Muran says were the work of evil spirits, and says Adelbert will soon meet the fair young man who fought him at Hittin and whom he totally did not fall in love with. Spoiler, it is actually a woman disguised as a man. The novel also takes way too long to say he and the woman in the picture are the same, just with a haircut. Her name, also kept from us for way too long, is Clara. Muran then knows Adelbert into the ruins of Palmyra, where he meets an alliance of Saracens disgruntled with Saladin's tyranny, and the remains of the Templars who avoided being among the 200 of their number Saladin orders massacred at the beginning of the book. They also don't like Saladin very much, and promise to make Adelbert king of Jerusalem if he will lead them, and even have the totally real spirit of Queen Zenobia rise from her grave to egg him on. He refuses to do anything until he has told Saladdin to Clara into his harem, where he all of a sudden starts caring about how tyrannical Saladdin is. But it is all a ruse. Muran will use him as a puppet to gain power for himself, and is actually Benno pretending to be Walter and at times the one-eyed man. Adelbert mainly helps to save one of Saladdin's sons from being kidnapped by Muran, and then just sits out the whole conquest of Rahaba, and isn't even there for Muran's death. Also, the Clara he met in the dungeons of Rahaba wasn't Clara but her sister Takla, because their brother rather sent a less valuable twin sister to Muran, who never knew the difference. This is so Czapek can pretend Clara is dead, only to have her be waiting at Adelbert's house the whole time. The novel is told very much out of order, and that is before Adelbert's cousin spent 60 pages summarizing the book to explain where and how Muran/Walter/Benno fooled him. This part kills any momentum the story had, and it's a wonder that during this time Adelbert does almost nothing but is told things by others, because why would we want a knight to do any fighting in a story set during the Crusades?